There's 700 horses, a man and machine. They're full wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of On the Pole Racing here at FFTv. We're here at the Grove as they get settled in here tonight. Now got some warm-ups going on, but as this warm-up goes on, we'll go ahead and see if we can take a look at this season points as it stands right now. If I can get them to come up here. Alright, here we go. See how this plays out. Thought I had... Oh, I know where the standing guard. Duh. me a moment here to get them brought up, just so here we go with standings for the 358 modifieds here. We've got Sam Bachman out front with 364 points. Brian Moore with 274. Andy Morano with 253. So the man to watch is going to be Sam Bachman. I don't see, yeah, he hasn't taken a lap or hasn't really put too much time out here. Right now, Brandon Templeton out front, Kelly Wheeler there second, William Watson there third. Are your three fastest here in warm-ups. I see Jacob Marcel out there in seventh, or seventh fastest, I should say. I see there Templeton has a 19.930. Kelly Wheeler with a 20.027. Now, Marcel running at number 44, Friesen. If any of you didn't see any of the news over the week, I believe it was Monday night from what I saw, when Friesen took the terrible accident out in Canada. They flown him back from the update I saw today. They flew him back to a #1 trauma center in New York. Or not flew him back, but brought him back. So he's sitting in a trauma center there as they figure out what their next steps are. But he definitely is going to have a long road of recovery ahead of him. From what I saw, several broken bones, broken pelvis. So hard hit there for Friesen Monday night. Glad he's okay though. Glad everything's okay. Just long road of recovery, and hopefully he can recover well. So they'll call the checkered flag here on practice. Qualifying will commence here at Williams Grove. We see, as we sit here and see who all come down on track. The 218 of Kurt Satzer comes out on track. And here we go. Everything's working here very well. As they head on down through off the front strip. Down here through onto the back stretch. Don't know if iRacing is going to update this track or not, or if they did, I don't know. As I do know they were redoing, or I don't know if they were doing it or not, but the pedestrian bridge that you come across here on the backstretch, that big blue bridge, I don't believe is there anymore. I don't know if they replaced it or not. But I know they definitely tore it out for a while. Brandon Templeton there in second. Sam Bachman, as you see there, our leader in the points with a 20.852 right now. So not the 19s that you saw in practice. About a second off of that. Brian Dickens back here in seventh right now with a 21.075. Mike Weeda. Kelly Wheeler up to 12th there, movements up there. We got two more cars trying to qualify. One of them there is Mike Brewer in the 39. On the scoreboard, it's 390, just so you're keeping track of that. Yeah, he slides on down through there with it. Whoa, where'd he go? 17th, that'll be 21.402. Qualifying comes to an end. Heat number 1 coming up here at the Grove. So heat number 1, it's going to look like this. Starting out there in front, Kurt Schatzer, Brian Dickens there in second. And why is this not showing up over here for you guys? This is not. Oh, man. Sometimes this thing. But we got Brandon Templeton starting in third, Bachman in fourth, Brian Moore fifth, Eddie Mossau there in sixth, Jeff Barker seventh, Clay Christopherson in eighth. And we try to get this to come up. Still nothing there. See if we can reload it. See if that does anything. They get set to start. We're going to go ahead and close this down and try to reopen it. Sometimes that will do the trick. There we go. Okay, we got it up and running there on your end. Not quite on my end, though. All right, drivers head on down through here. Trying to get this back up, but it's not, and it's disappeared once again. Pace car rolls off. We're about to take the green flag here. Here we go, down here in the corner number 1. Everything side by side here as they come down the back stretch. Underneath there, we've got Templeton out front. Now you've got Kurt Schatzer up on the high side, coming there off the corner. And down here in the corner 3 and 4. They work back out here onto the front stretch. No, I'm sorry, no, working onto the back stretch, sorry. As they come down around the corner, look out, 3 wide almost for a third, or second through fourth. They got Schatzer up there on the top side, Bachman down there on the inside, Templeton out front, laying it down, trying to hold on to that lead. 6 laps to go here in heat number 1, down here to the bottom side. Off turn 4, down that front straightaway. Everybody's single filed out now. As they head here off the corner. You're seeing Kurt Schatzer there in 4th place in that 218. The 122, Brian Dickens up there towards the top side. Templeton still holds on to the lead. Bachman now up to second as they roll down the front stretch down here in the corner number 3, or I'm sorry, corner number 1 and 2. 3 wide as they come off of 2 as the 218 gets squeezed back there into 4th position. Bachman hanging on there to second, Schatzer there third, Parker there in 4th, Clay Christopherson there 5th. Rolling down the front straight now, down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Down there along the inside is Christopherson as he works there beside the 513 of Barker. The 218 there of Schatzer sitting there third. Bachman there. Oh, look out. Here comes Clay. Down there on the inside. Not going to get there, but will get up there in the 4th. Getting around Barker. Everybody else kind of single filed out up there towards the front. Templeton, then Bachman. 2 to go here in heat number 1. For the big block and 358 modifieds. Down here through off the corner. Jeff Barker having issues as he ends up around Same with Brian Dickens, final lap. Here comes the leaders coming bearing down on them. Brian Moore is still having issues there as the white flag is out. Gonna try to keep those cars getting situated. We watch Brandon Templeton coming off the corner. Bachman coming there as well. They come off of turn number 4. Checker flag in the air for Templeton, Bachman, Christopherson, all settling it out here. As they get that coming off of the corner here tonight. Waiting on the results to come in. Here we go. Heat 1 results. I'm gonna read. Brandon Templeton as your winner. Sam Bachman there second. Clay Christopherson third. Kurt Schatzer fourth. Eddie Marcel there fifth. Brian Dickens sixth. Jeff Barker seventh. Brian Moore there in eighth. As we get on to here through the grid for heat number 2. Gotta be Joe Marcel starting on pole. Michael Vitale there second. William Watson third. Gavin Chatham there in fourth. Mike Wida there fifth. Mike Brewer in sixth. And John Dubai in seventh. There you see them out there in front. Trying to find their best place to go here as we get them rolling around here. Now you see the 213 of Michael Vitale up there on the top side. 7 cars here in heat number 2. As they all roll down here through 3, or off of 2, down the backstretch, heading into 3. Down here in the corner number 1 they go, side by side. Here now off of 2, down through the back stretch. Mike Brewer already having issues as he's around, getting that car flipped back around, getting that pedal hit once again. He's down and away in that number 39-0. 8 drivers are trying to make everything happen here. Down through the back stretch, down here in the corner number 1 they go. Or corner number 3 and 4 rather. Man, I'm getting flipped around here too bad tonight. Here we go, down there through. There you see the 28 of Marcel. Gavin Chatham there in 3rd. Mike Wida there 5th. Everybody working down here off of 3 and 4. 6 to go here in heat number 2. That's the drivers dropped back. Not sure exactly where they ended up. But the 23, William Watson, leading the race. Caught on his heels with Michael Vitale. And then Gavin Chatham back here in 3rd. Working down here off of corner number 2. Side by side, down that back stretch they go. As they head on out there through, that looking great. 3 laps to go. Down here through the front stretch. Thank you here to watching at Player Farm TV. If you are, otherwise, we watching over at Coast to Coast Racing Network, where you can catch all your Coast to Coast racing needs. As they run Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. I don't know if they run Tuesdays or not. I feel like there's not a couple more race days in there, but sorry, I don't fully pay attention. I pay attention to Thursdays because that's where I'm involved right now. Coming here through turn 3 and 4. Results soon to come in as Watson leads them to the flag. Michael Vitale will pick up second as it comes storming across. Results soon to come in here for heat number 2. As these drivers are doing everything possible here tonight to get these cars situated the way they want them. Here we got the heat number 2 of the 358 modifieds. William Watson gets the win. Michael Vitale second. Gavin Chatham there in third. Joe Marcel in fourth. Mike Weeda there fifth. John Dubai sixth. Mike Brewer in seventh. Now we go and move on to the grid of heat number 3. They're going to be Kelly Wheeler, Jacob Marcel, Randall Dixon, Dean Reynolds in fourth, Bob DeGood fifth, Harold Klump sixth, and rounding out your field for heat number 3 is going to be Barry Wallace. Eight laps the distance here in the heat races. There you see that number 79 of Dean Reynolds. Got number 2 there of Harold Klump as well. Out front, Kelly Wheeler in that 110. Otherwise, that 11 out there. Randall Dixon up there in the 011. As these guys roll here off the corner, ready for the start. And the green flag drops. 8 laps to go here in heat number 3 down there in the corner number 1 and 2. Everybody sitting underway. As you see, Randall Dixon down there on the inside. What a great run out of him. He got quite a bit of a jump there. Not sure what happened to Kelly Wheeler. Kelly Wheeler's dropped back now to third, almost in the fourth as he battles there with Dixon. Dixon hanging on there to fourth right now as Dean Reynolds battles there with the 47 of Marcel, working down the back stretch. As you see Reynolds now getting there, gives him the bump. That's going to send the 47 around. Now Dean Reynolds gets sent around. Everybody bumping around. 7 to go. Marcel ends up dropping back here in the third. Dean Reynolds down there on the bottom side. Kelly Wheeler takes over the lead. Back where he started from. Harold Klump back here in fourth. Bob DeGood back here 7th. Randall Dixon back here in 6th. Not sure how well Marcel appreciated that bump there going through the corner. We'll find out here as the race goes on. 5 to go here in heat number 3. As I don't know if he got too sideways. Dean just drove right into the back of him or not. But Dean got Marcel sideways there. and Marcel getting a better run off the top side. Gets to the top side there. Reynolds, he's going to try again to get by him. He will do so. Reynolds down there on the inside, hanging tough down there on the bottom side, but it looks like that top lane has come alive. That's where they're all going to be kind of single filed at right at the moment. Reynolds now way up there in the cushion, trying to see if he can get some extra grip up there to see if he can get that thing pushed along here. As you see him there rolling now through turn 3 and 4, 3 to go, coming out here onto the front stretch. 2 to go here in heat number 3. As Kelly Wheeler will be there in first, Marcel there second, Dean Reynolds in third, Randall Dixon fourth, rolling down that back straightaway. In the corner number 3 and 4, Kelly Wheeler out front, Jacob Marcel there second, Dean Reynolds third. Dean Reynolds says hello to the outside of the thing. Harold Klump is out. Not sure what happened there to Klump. Possible packet loss. Jacob Marcel there in second. He's making a run here. Can he get the last lap? And he gives Wheeler the bump. And that's going to drop Wheeler back into fourth. Last corner bump there from Marcel to get him up there into the lead out of corner number 4. Warm-up taking place. Results here for heat number 3. Gonna be Jacob Marcel there in first. Dean Reynolds second. Randall Dixon third. Kelly Wheeler fourth. Bob DeGood there fifth. Barry Wallace sixth. Harold Klump there in seventh. So that is your finishing order there for heat number 3. We'll be back after this message.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, here we go. For your grid here tonight from, see if we can get this to come up right, RSN trackside. Going to be Brandon Templeton starting out there on pole. William Watson second. Jacob Marcel will roll off third here tonight inside row number 2. Sam Bachman in fourth. Michael Vitale there fifth. Dean Reynolds sixth. Clay Robertson seventh. Gavin Chatham there in 8th. Randall Dixon 9th. Kurt Schatzer there 10th. Joe Marcel in 11th. Kelly Wheeler there in 12th. Back here in 13th, Eddie Marcel Jr. Mike Weeda there 14th. Bob the Good there in 15th. Brian Dickens 16th. John Dubai there 17th. Barry Wallace 18th. Jeff Barker 19th. Mike Brewer there 20th. Harold Klump 21st. Brian Moore there 22nd. And that will be, wait, 22nd. That's it. 22 cars here tonight for your starting grid. I got Brandon Templeton as your front runner. Thursday night thunder here from Coast to Coast Racing League here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Also here with us is the Fleeger Farm TV on the pole. We're here with the Coast to Coast Racing League here tonight. I see at 31 out there as your leader. William Watson there in second. Marcel there third. Marcel did what he needed to get that win there in the heat. I'm sure Wheeler's not Wheeler's not happy about it. It dropped him clear back here in the 12th to start this main event here tonight. Down here in the corner number 1 to go. Templeton is your leader. William Watson up there on the high side there in second. Here we go. Off 3 wide there. Marcel there in the, or Jacob Marcel there in the middle. Got Bachman there to his high side. Bachman, the car to beat here in the 358s as he's leading the points down the front straightaway. Everybody looking great. I see there's Dean Reynolds up there in 5th. Michael Vitale back here in 6th. And you're looking there at Kelly Wheeler up to 10th. There's Dean Reynolds in the number 79, working down here on the bottom side. Back out here onto the front stretch, down into corner number 2. And I see at 99, working there of Gavin Chatham for FTM. You got the LFM. Caution is out. Randall Dixon around somewhere. I'll catch it here. They're really tight there. They come down here into the corner. And he gets bumped there by the 44. Oh, Eddie Marcel. Marcel up. Eddie now moving up. So drivers now have to get resituated. And if you weren't here earlier listening, shout out to Eddie Marcel for running that scheme here tonight. That is the Friesen number 44. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Friesen family. He had a horrific accident here this past weekend, racing in the modifieds. currently laid up in New York in a #1 trauma center. So thoughts and prayers go out to the Friesen family. Dean Reynolds there in fifth. Sam Bachman up in the third. Now we get set for the restart. There you see that 218 of Kurt Schatzer and the 11 of Kelly Wheeler. Lights still on the pace car, so one more trip around Williams Grove, sorry. Down here in the corner, #1 and 2 as the green flag flies. Down here in the corner, #1. You got 23 way up there in the cushion. As they work here off the corner, there you see Wheeler as he works off the corner. 26 laps to go. Working there off of turn 3 down the front straightaway. You see Jacob Marcel there in third. Up there along top side. He has something figured out there if he can get it rolling. As they roll down here in the corner, #3 and 4. Chatham now down there on the inside. I'm seeing more lanes coming alive here as the race progresses. Now you got that 23 of William Watson down there now working. It's Sam Bachman, 24 laps to go. John Dubai back here towards the back. Barry Wallace also towards the back here. Now comes storming out of the corner. Marcel and the 99 battling it out. They got Christopherson there behind them. Now Clay goes trying to get underneath of the 47. Cannot quite get there. Chatham now falls back a little bit. Jacobs there in fourth. They force Marcel up there into the outside wall. Dean Reynolds there as well, pushing them up the racetrack. Jacob Marcel getting shuffled backwards now. And he's all around, up and over. The 47 spun around there on the front stretch. I see William Watson there in second, Sam Bachman there third, Gavin Chatham there in third, fourth, or something. Go back there to the yellow flag if we can find it here. As Jacob Marcel ends up turned around, facing the wrong direction here tonight. Just trying not to keep going back farther. Ends up getting a little high coming here out of 4. Gets into the back of Vitali. Yeah, and gets spun around. Everybody scattered. Great job, everybody missing them. They had Sam Bachman there in third. They're all getting lined back up. Couple more laps to go before we get back out here into green flag conditions. Coming off the corner, green flag is out there down the way. Down in the corner number 1 and 2. Brandon Templeton out there in front. Gavin Chatham there in second. Quaker stops in third. Sam Bachman back here in fourth now. He gets around Watson. Watson not giving up though on that high side. Jacob Marcel starting up front now has fallen clear back here in the 16th. Down 13 spots from where he started. After having some issues there, here you see the 51 of Blake Gustafson there, third. Chatham there in second. Brandon Templeton out front, leading the way. Down through the corner, coming off. Brandon Templeton leading the way here as we hit 10 laps to go. Blake Gustafson back there in third. As you see, Bachman trying to hang on to it. Watson all over him. As Dean Reynolds back here in sixth. Kurt Schatzer there, seventh. Kelly Wheeler there in eighth. 9 laps to go. Mike Brewer in eighth. Kelly Wheeler now back to ninth. Vitale back here in 10th. Six laps to go. He's driving out front, putting on a show here. Baker Thompson there in third. Bachman for it. Watson there fifth. Down through corner 1 and 2. 5 laps to go. Up there to the outside. Sits that number 23. Wallace having issues as he's now in the pits. Coming here out at corner number 4. Clay Christopherson trying to gain on Chatham. Bachman still has a mere full of Watson. And see them all coming down through off of the corner. Clay Christopherson there third. Sam Bachman fourth. Dean Reynolds here fifth. William Watson there in sixth. Mike Brewer there in seventh. Kurt Schatzer in eighth. And they keep going around the racetrack. 3 laps to go. Gavin Chatham there second. Clay Gustafson there in third. Racing hard down through off the corner. Dean Reynolds there fifth. William Watson sixth. Mike Brewer there in seventh. Got Kurt Schatzer back here in eighth. 2 laps to go. Christopherson still battling it out with Chatham. Here comes Christopherson now getting around him, getting the slide, and it looks like Chatham's going to try to cross over here as the final lap comes into play. Down here in the corner number 1 and 2. He's going to run to the outside, cannot quite get there. He's going to try to back it off, get a run. Down here through corner number 3 and 4. Can he get down there and slide it and stick it? No, he cannot. He's going to end up in third as Christopherson's going to hang on to second place. Coming out of corner number 4. There you see that 31. Brandon Templeton taking the win here tonight. Clay Christopherson there in second. Great job there by the 31. Brandon Templeton to bring home the win here tonight. Oh, we gotta wait for them to get here. We're looking for Gavin, Clay, and Templeton. See if we can catch up with any of these drivers. Third place tonight going to Gavin. Give them a couple moments here. All right, here we are. Gavin here getting third place. Good evening, Gavin. How's it going?
Hey, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling a third place finish feels pretty good tonight in the 358s for sure. I can't complain about that.
I mean, you look good out there in the 358s. Pretty clean racing tonight here at the Grove.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was clean. It was fun. I got lucky on a couple restarts where I started on the outside and was able to kind of sail it around some people and gain a few positions. It was really tough to pass, though. 1 and 2 was really good on the bottom, but then the bottom in 3 and 4 was really bad. You had to be up top in 3 and 4. So anytime you got a runner underneath somebody in 1 and 2, pretty much gave it all up in 3 and 4. But no, yeah, the car felt really good. It felt really good to have speed with these guys. I mean, these are some of the best modified racers out there, so it felt good to be able to hang with them and run the same lap times as them. I figured 2 laps ago, I'd just try something and sent it sailing in on the top there, try to gain some ground, but it was not the right answer, and Clay was able to get around me. But that's okay. I'll still take a third place for sure.
Well, I mean, definitely tough competition here on Thursday nights, along with, I'm sure, every series here at Coast to Coast.
Yeah, it's tough each in and every night, night in and night out. It's tough, and you got to make the right moves and be in the right positions to be able to get some wins. You got to put yourself in a good spot, and we definitely put ourselves in a good spot tonight, qualifying well and doing well in the heat race and being able to move forward in the feature, which always feels good. If you're moving forward in the feature, it's always a good thing. It means you have speed, and you need a little bit of luck as well. Sometimes Lady Luck needs to be on your side to pick up a win as well.
Alrighty, well, congrats getting third there. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank you doing an awesome job with the broadcast. I want to thank Coast to Coast Racing, all the sponsors, admin, and everybody behind the scenes that helps put this series on and allows us to come out here and race. I just want to thank Full Throttle Motorsports, Mike Schick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, Swan Speed Shop, Super Dirt Car Series, Chatham Motorsports, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports. I don't think I mentioned them. If I did, Swan Speed Shop, Super Dirt Car Series, Vertex Graphics. I want to thank all the sponsors, all the help we get for on the team. So I thank the fans for coming out watching the races and supporting the sport in the series, and I hope we put on a good show for everybody tonight. I just want to thank my fans as well for coming out and watching the races.
Alrighty, well, congrats getting that third place, and we'll see you as we progress through the night. I don't know if you're calling it one and done or if you're racing other series tonight.
Maybe we'll. I got options. I can either run 410s at Williams Grove or run big blocks. So my sprint cars are my forte, so I might lean that way. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll give the big blocks a shot.
Alrighty, well, good luck either way you go there.
Thank you.
So that was Gavin, our third place finisher. Now we'll get with Christopherson, second place. Good evening, Clay. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Going real good. How'd that car obviously did you well tonight, getting up there into second place, gained 5 spots.
Yeah, the car felt good for the most part. There just wasn't many options to run. It was almost whoever could run the bottom of 1 and 2, the lowest, and then 3 and 4 kind of seemed like a wash because you pretty much had to get up top, otherwise you'd lose all your progress. So it was a tough strategy. You kind of had to play checkmate with people to time it just right where you can have the bottom knowing you'll have a faster corner. So it was tricky. Definitely not many options to run.
Now, it almost looked like it was getting close to a one-lane racetrack around it.
Yeah, 3 and 4 for sure. The gear just didn't have enough to get going on the bottom. Middle wasn't terrible on a cut down, but you couldn't do it through traffic. So, yeah, it seemed like bottom 1 and 2 and top 3 and 4 were kind of the preferred lines.
Well, congrats there, getting second. You got shout-outs, sponsors, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, you guys for putting this on, all the guys at FTM and Swan Speed Shop for 358 and big block sets.
Alrighty, well, congrats there for second. And we're going to see you any more tonight, or are you one and done here?
I think I'm going to run the big blocks and then probably call it.
Okay. Well, good luck in them as we get ready to roll.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that was Clay Christopherson, our second place finisher. Now we'll get with Brandon Templeton. Good evening there, Templeton. How's it going?
Pretty good now. How about yourself?
It's going well. You had a pretty good lock on this race since the heat.
Yeah, I definitely felt the heat, though. Those guys were, they were keeping me honest, making me run that line. I missed the bottom almost once. I let off a little too early and got in there too slow and had to gas it up to keep it off the inside wall, and they gained ground on me. But overall, real fun race. Just had to kind of figure out, bottom in 1 and 2, top in 3 and 4, and it worked out.
Well, you definitely had to stay ahead of the track, the changing track conditions for sure.
Yeah, it was a fun one, though. I like a track where you actually have to slow down in the corners. You don't just throw it with all your momentum, so it gives a little differential. It gives you a little more control as a driver.
Well, you one and done tonight, or are you going to be racing big blocks and late model?
Normally I'd jump in the big blocks at least, but need to get out and do some mowing, and my grass is getting pretty tall, so I'll take the win, and we'll call it quits while I'm ahead.
Alrighty, well, congrats, and we'll see you next week. Well, before
Thanks,
you go, do you have any sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank FTM for putting on the sponsorship of this night. Everybody with the Dirt Track Bank, Hammer Down Racing, Joe, Kurt, and Brian, Extreme Images, Mealy's Maker, you for putting on a good stream, everyone with Coast to Coast, and everyone watching at home, thank you.
All right, well, congrats for that win, and we'll see you next week then. So that was our winner, Brandon Templeton. We get set to go shortly here to our big block division. Real fast, though, our feature results are going to be Brandon Templeton out there getting the win. Clay Christopherson there in second. Gavin Chatham there in third. Sam Bachman, 14, Reynolds 5th, Mike Brewer 6th, William Watson there 7th, Kurt Schatzer 8th, Kelly Wheeler there in 9th, Michael Vitale in 10th, Mike Weeda in 11th, Joe Marcel will take 12th, Jacob Marcel will take 13th, Brian Dickens in 14th, Jeff Barker 15th, Harold Klump 16th, Bob DeGood there in 17th, 18th, that's going to go to, if I hit the right button, hit Brian Moore, senior. Eddie Marcel Jr. will take 19th, John Dubai in 20th, Barry Wallace 21st, and Randall Dixon will round out your field tonight in 22nd. Now, one last thing before we get here to the big blocks. If I can get it to come up here, we'll see. If I do this right. See if I can do this right. Oh, nothing there. Okay. There we go. Here at FFTv, along with a few other groups, we are looking to try to get this race to kick off in September. It is a race to stop suicide 250, or Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So if you're interested, you can go to Fleeger Farm TV and find our link there to donate, along with, once you're at the website, finding our Discord. We'll make sure the website is completely up to date, ready to rock and roll for everything. So we appreciate any thoughts or anything to go with this. And it's going to be Trucks at Daytona, sorry. So look forward to that. So without much to do left, let's go ahead and get ready for our big block modifieds. We'll catch you here in just a few moments.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get. Tonight when we talked about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. we can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
It's time for another edition of iRacing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Right when we talked about it.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, here we go. Heat number 1 coming up here for the big blocks. The grid's going to look like this. Here we go. Kurt Schatzer in front. Michael Vitelli there second. Sam Buckman third. Mike Brewer fourth. Bob the Good in fifth. Randall Dixon there sixth. Gavin Chatham there in seventh. Sorry, it took me a moment to get back. Had to really quickly go and try to find a drink around here. Lines at the concessions were pretty long. All right, here we go. Bachman there, as we said, starting there at third. Take a quick look at the points here, as we did so in the the 358s. Big block modifieds here. We'll have Sam Bachman out front. Trevor Garou in second. Andy Morano in third. Scott Riome in fourth. Dean Reynolds fifth. Those are your top 5 inside your points here for coast to coast. Big block modifieds. Lights are out on the pace machine. We'll be going green flag racing next time by. They come down across the stripe. Everybody's lined up. Now everybody rolls down the backstretch. Bachman there third. Michael Vitelli there in second. Kurt Schatzer, Kurt Schatzer, your lead car. Michael Vitelli there in second. Had a flip-flop there for a moment. Fred pulls that car down there on the pit lane. I see him coming out of turn number 4 here. Green flag in the air as they are down and away. Down here through corner number 1 and 2, you got the 213 of Michael Vitelli up top. Got Kurt Schatzer and a 218 down there on the inside. Down there on the bottom side, look at those front ends dip as they get onto the brakes a little bit there. As you see them bobbing there coming through the corner. Look out, here comes a 390. Oh, no, what the heck happened there? Bachman has trouble. Schatzer also in trouble. Not sure exactly what happened there. As now we got the lead handed over to Vitelli. Brewer there in second. Randall Dixon back here in third. Bob the Good back here in fourth. Somehow that front wall reached out and just grabbed a hold of these drivers. Not sure exactly what happened. 6 laps to go here in heat number 1 down that front straightaway. Vitelli hanging on to first. There you see the 39 of Mike Brewer working there to his inside, working off the corner. Now down that back straightaway. Trying to make sure he doesn't get up in there too much as they now work off a turn 2 down the front stretch. Got Mike Brewer up there in front as he works that inside lane, trying to get around Mike Brewer. Randall Dixon back here third. Bob DeGood back here fourth. The other 2 are out, or other 3, I should say, are out. Gavin Chatham, Sam Bachman, and Kurt Schatzer. As they work here off the corner. Brewer now definitely takes the lead down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Back out onto the back stretch. Now he said unsure what happened there. All right, come there off of turn 4. Bachman still hanging out in the pits. Going to try to get that car figured out for the main event here. As they roll on down through here. 7 drivers here in heat number 1. Rolling down through the front stretch into corner number 1 for the final time in heat number 1. Brewer out front. Vitelli there second. Dixon there third. Bob DeGood sitting there fourth. Sam Bachman, as we said, is in the pits, and Schatzer is out. As we got the results coming in. Try to see if we can look here to see what happens, if it'll let us. There you see with the 218 down there on the bottom side working a pair. They get together, and it looks like he gets a little help getting spun around there. Didn't quite see that before. As we head on to the next series here, or next heat race, if I can get it to do what it's supposed to. So results for heat number 1, real quick. Brewer, Vitelli, Dixon, DeGood, Bachman, Schatzer, and Chatham is how they're going to finish heat number 1. In the grid here, it's going to be Brian Moore out front, Dean Reynolds second, Harold Klump there third, William Watson fourth, Jeff Parker fifth, John Dubai there sixth, and Clay Christopherson there in seventh. That is your starting grid here for heat number 2. They work here off the corner. You're looking there at the 2 of Harold Klump. Struggled there in the 358s, but out here in the big block. As they work down here off of corner number 2, down the front straightaway. Green flag is out. Dean Reynolds getting a decent jump up there on the top side. It's 55 there, down there on the bottom side. Got to try to work his way around. There you see the 23 of William Watson trying to work his way up through. Harold Klump still trying to work his. There you see Brian Moore now in that 055. Working down there off of 4, back down the front straightaway. 7 cars here in heat number 2. Down here around, we got, I would say we got 14 cars in here in the big blocks. As they roll down through the backstretch, you're looking here at the 2 of Harold Klump, the 23 of William Watson, as they battle it out for that third spot. Clay Christopherson rolling them in here. As they roll down there across the bottom side. Careful, don't want to hit one another too bad. Oh, I'm sorry, forgot I didn't have that on. As they roll through turn 3 and 4, back out front. Everybody hanging on here to the positions they got. Christopherson down there now to fifth as Harold Klump gets around him up into fourth. William Watson there third. Brian Moore in second, and Dean Reynolds, your race leader here, with coming out of turn 4, bringing it to 4 to go. As they work down here through the back stretch once again here. And still Dean Reynolds out front. Brian Moore there second. Watson now getting a run here. He's going to try to get there, but can he? That's going to be the question. Coming down there off the corner now, down through the front stretch. Dean Reynolds out front. Brian Moore there second. William Watson now up to second as he gets a run there on the bottom side. Clay Christopherson now up to fourth. Harold Klump ends up falling back there to about sixth. Right there behind the 513 is Jeff Barker. Out front, Dean Reynolds still is running. John Dubai crashed up here in turn number 1 as they come to the flag. Reynolds going to get the win here with Watson in second. Going to be Brian Moore for third as Clay Christopherson finishes fourth. John Dubai, as we said, had issues here. So that'll be your heat number 2. Heat number 2 results are in. We're looking at Dean Reynolds out there in first, William Watson second, Brian Moore third, Clay Christopherson there fourth, Jeff Barker fifth, Harold Klump there sixth, John Dubai there in seventh. We'll be back after these messages here for the warm-ups.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in an on-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, here's your starting grid here from RSN Trackside. Going to be looking like this. Mike Brewer out front. Dean Reynolds there second. Michael Vitale third. William Watson fourth. Randall Dixon fifth. Brian Moore in sixth. Bob the Good will be starting inside row number 4 with Bob the Good in seventh. Clay Christopherson there outside row 4 in eighth. And row number 5 starting inside in ninth. That's going to be Sam Bachman in that 007. He's your points leader, so we'll see how well he can come up to the field to try to take care of business here tonight. Jeff Barker in 10th, starting with that number 513. Inside, row number 6 is Kurt Schatzer in that 11th position. He's outside in 6th. Of that 6th row is in 12th, Harold Klump. 13th tonight, gonna be going to, well, wait a moment here. And 13th tonight, going to be going to Gavin Chatham. We'll be rolling off in 13th. John DeBye in 14th. I don't know. I know I touched on it earlier tonight in the 358s as I saw the 44 out on track. I touched on Stuart Friesen. I'm going to touch on him a little bit more here as, through the break there, I was looking at, certain things and come up with an update from Jess, which would be his wife, I believe. Wife or fiance or something like that. They're thanking everybody for all the support that's rallying around Stuart and the family. Saying that many people have asked how to support, and the biggest support they said you can do is go visit 1ZTees.com. That is ONEZEETEES.com and purchase your favorite racing shirt or collectible. If you see any GoFundMes or any sort of charity account, know that unless it comes from us, which would be reasons, it is not going to any sort of Stewart's care. So there is that. So, and I thank again for all the well wishes and prayers. So definitely just want to give a shout out to them as we get rolling here with the big blocks. And just letting the community know here at Fleeger Farm TV and Coast to Coast. And the update there, again, that is 1ZTees.com to go support. That is ONEZEETEES.com. So starting here in this race, we're the second lap in. Everybody's going, battling hard. As Brewer is down there on the inside, trying to make that inside work. Down through the front stretch, William Watson there third, Michael Vitale in fourth, Clay Christopherson fifth, Brian Moore there in sixth. As they fights through off the top, Brewer still trying to battle along beside Dean Reynolds down that back straightaway. As they come down into 3 and 4, back out onto the front stretch. Everybody's there, as you see. Them working off of 4. Side by side, it's still Reynolds and Brewer trying to battle it out here. Trying to figure out what grip there is in these big blocks. They roll down through off the corner. As you see them there, you see Brewer, trying to get a little bit of edge as they roll down through the front straightaway. Dean Reynolds there, 26 laps to go here in the feature event of the big block modifieds here tonight. Dean Reynolds out there trying to hang on to the lead up there on the top side, but Brewer is giving it all he has. You see Michael Vitelli and William Watson battling it out as they're both side by side. Brian Moore, Craig Christopherson back here, 5th and 6th. Brian Moore getting into the back of Christopherson a little bit. That's going to allow Randall Dixon to come around. Bachman follows through. Brian Moore falls back into 8th. And I see Bachman down there on the inside trying to get something to pull through. Michael Vitale up there in 3rd, battling there with Watson. Brewer ended up falling back in the 2nd for the time being, but I don't think he's done yet. 24 laps to go. Just could not get that bottom to bite as now he tries to cut down lanes, gets back underneath. I'm coming down here towards turn number 1. Cannot quite get the slide that he needs yet. Battling there beside the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Both these drivers driving for Full Throttle Motorsports, the sponsor for the modified series. Both the 358 and the big blocks. William Watson down there on the inside. Got the 213 there of Michael Vitale. Clay Christopherson back here in 5th. 22 laps to go as they work down here through the front stretch. Randall Dixon there in 7th. Brian Moore in 8th. Harold Klump back here in 9th. Bob the Good there in 10th. Jeff Barker in 11th. John Dubai 12th. Kurt Schatzer 13th. Gavin Chatham in 14th. Both those drivers not shown on the racetrack. It looks like they didn't even start. William Watson there 4th, as you see him battle there with Michael Vitale. And there he goes, getting underneath. Watson doing all he can to get up here, battling it out. Down here in the corner number 1. 20 laps to go here at the Grove for the big blocks here tonight before we get into the Pro Late models. Working down off the corner. Here we go. You see that 39 of Mike Brewer working down the front stretch. Got that 23 there of William Watson. Mike Brewer out there in 2nd as Reynolds leads the race. Down here in the corner number 3. Brewer is still not giving up yet. His head down here into the bottom. Leading around there out of turn number 4. Mike Brewer 2nd. Vitale there in 3rd. Watson there 4th. Sam Bachman 5th. Christopherson now falls back into 6th as Bachman gets around him on the high side. As that high side's coming alive here in the big blocks. So definitely a different track layout here for the big blocks compared to the 358. It seems like we are definitely high side racing here at the Grove. Not sure how much grip is down there on the bottom side. But you see Brewer is still trying to battle Reynolds there off the bottom as he made Reynolds drop down to the bottom down there. Now as they stick it in here to 3 and 4, 17 laps to go. Brewer is right there. Who's smoother on the wheel? Who's quicker on the throttle? Down here through corner number 1 and 2. And the other thing that we were hearing from these drivers is you're not full throttle around this racetrack. You might touch full throttle for a brief second down through the straightaway. But coming through the corner, you're maybe only half. And dirt track racing, from what I've been told, or any racing in that matter, I've always been told, treat it like you have an egg under the throttle. Down here through the backstretch, you got Dean Reynolds out there still leading the way. Michael Vitale closing the gap here to Brewer as Watson's still there. These four have been battling it out quite closely all race long, as now we see Watson get back underneath the Vitale. Cannot quite get there, but he's there at the back corner panel trying to keep it together. As they come there off of turn number 2, Watson hanging it out as much as he can to get underneath, and he does so. Hang on. As they work there off of turn number 4, Watson down there below Vitale. Vitale hanging tough on the high side. Down there he comes. The 23 of Watson trying to make something happen. Cannot quite get there. Vitale hanging tough there 3rd. Brewer there in 2nd as they roll down through turn 3 and 4. Reynolds out there in front bringing it off of 4. Bringing it to 12 to go. And we see these drivers all packed here and here, trying to make something happen. I'm not really seeing too much else going on the racetrack at this time being. Might be some things closer to the back. but unsure. Vitelli ends up falling back into fourth. Here, as you see, Brewer working there on him, down there on the inside. Now here comes Watson. As Watson gets down there, he's going to try to get there as well. Hanging tough for third. As Vitelli dropped back a little bit here. Watson and Vitelli battle it out hard. Here comes Brewer once again trying to get up there to Reynolds. Down through the front straightaway, lap number 10. Here we go. Whoa, almost clipping the back end there of the 39 is the 23 of Watson. Watson doing a great job, though, bringing it up in front of Vitelli. Keeping everything in check. Vitelli now makes the pass on the inside, coming down through the front stretch. Watson still holds on to it as they go back almost 3 wide there through turn 1 and 2. As they work down through the backstretch. You're watching Brewer there in second, looking there, trying to get something to happen. Trying to get that momentum, trying to get that speed as they all work there off of turn number 4. Down through the front stretch. Everybody's hanging it out here. Not sure if we got anything going on back here towards the back. There you see the 7 of Bob DeGood. The 11 of Randall Dixon. Harold Klump there in 8. Brian Moore back here in 6th. So I'm not really seeing much of any action going on back there. Action taking place up front here between the leaders here through 1 through 4. 7 laps to go. Brewer hanging tough there in second. Reynolds out front. There you're looking at. Oh, here comes Watson now. He's working on the inside of Brewer. Second and third are side by side now going into turn number 1. Brewer's trying to get that run off that high side, off of 2. Cannot quite get it. Looks like there's a little bit better run off the bottom side of 2. As they work down here through 3 and 4, the high side prevails a little bit here through 3 and 4, as we saw even in the 358s. 5 to go in the big block modifieds. Look out as they are starting to get stacked up. Watson down there on the inside, trying to get by Brewer. 5 to go. You're looking there at Vitelli, who's currently there in 4th. Watson now in 2nd. Here comes Brewer down there on the low side of him. Going to do a cut over. Now Brewer goes down there to the inside. Here comes Watson getting that run off the top side down here into corner number 3. Getting that dive into 3. So does Brewer. As Watson's there in the middle. 3 wide coming off of 4. Reynolds still hangs on to the lead. Watson still hanging on to second. Brewer doing all he can on the bottom side to try to get some sort of run, but cannot get that drive off of 2 the way he's really hoping for. Now he's in deep there in through 3 and 4. Down there on the bottom side. Coming off. He's still close. Man, oh man, race heating up here between the top 4. It's 2 laps to go. You're looking there at Michael Vitelli as now he gets to the outside of Brewer. He's going to try to take that spot away as Brewer falls back. Look out, here comes Watson to the lead if he can. Off of turn number 4. Not sure if he got the drive off yet. As Watson is hanging on to the lead. He slides it up in front of Dean. Dean's going to cut down. Final lap. Who's it going to be? Dean Reynolds there as well with Watson as they work here into corner number 3 and 4. Watson ends up a little wide. Dean's there working on the bottom side. Who's it going to be as they drag race out of the corner? It's going to be Reynolds for the win. Man, oh man, what a race to the finish as Reynolds gets the win. Watson second. Vitelli there third. Brewer there fourth. Man, oh man, that was a great run there in the big blocks here tonight. Dean Reynolds really putting on a show with William Watson there at the end of that one. Your results are here. Dean Reynolds getting the win. William Watson second. Michael Vitelli third. Mike Brewer there fourth. Sam Bachman fifth. Clay Christopherson there sixth. Harold Klump there seventh. Brian Moore 8th, Randall Dixon there 9th, Bob DeGood 10th, Jeff Barker finishes 11th, John Dubai finishes tonight 12th, Kurt Schatzer there 13th, Gavin Chatham finishes 14th. All right, here we are now. We'll go ahead and get with our winners here in just a moment. as they hang on down through here. Looks like we got Vitelli. Good evening, Michael. How's it going?
How you doing, Fleeger?
I'm doing well, man. What a finish there.
Yeah, it was a little hairy coming off 4 at the finish there. I didn't mean to get into Mike like that, but it was, I was flat-footed coming off that corner, just trying to get across those checkers.
Well, I know the top 4, maybe top 5 are really close there coming off of that final lap. Tell us, how'd that car feel there tonight?
It felt pretty good. I can go to, I wasn't as fast on the bottom as I was in the middle top, but, it felt good.
Well, you look good out there. Looked like you had a blast out there in the modifieds.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was some tight racing there. And, again, I just want to apologize to Brewer there at the end.
Hopefully he accepts it. I mean, it gets tough there whenever you're battling for spots. I mean, we saw that in the 358s when we had a driver win the heat by sliding up in and giving somebody the right rear a little bit.
Yeah, there wasn't much room out there between the top 5 there. I know there wasn't much room, so that was some good racing. Hats off to the guys in front of me.
Well, you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting that 3rd spot?
Yeah, I want to thank my wife for letting me do this day in and day out. My teammates, Randy, Jake, Billy, Anthony. Coast to Coast for giving us a place to race, you for broadcasting, and that's about it.
All righty. Well, congrats on getting that 3rd place tonight. And are you coming out in the Pro Late Models?
No, I don't think I'll be at the Pro Lates tonight.
All righty. Well, congrats on 3rd place, and we'll see you next week.
All right, brother. Thank you.
So that was Michael Vitelli. Now we'll get with William Watson. Good evening, William. How's it going?
Good. Had a great race. That was fun.
Man, that was a tough race out front. I mean, you had the lead, then you had second, then you had the lead, then you had second. I mean, it was tough battle out there.
Yeah, I mean, I found something there in 3 and 4, and can't really describe. It was basically like a slider cut down, but somehow I was able to stick it. I was throwing the slider in there, wasn't floating to the top of the track because that's where they were at. So then it stuck, and I kept it down low, and I was gaining ground on it. So I mean, I don't know how to explain that. It was just fun. I'm glad we came right there at the end, finish. The way it finished there, it was a little battle.
You definitely put on a show for the viewers, and I'm sure they appreciate the tough, tight racing that was put on. How'd that track feel for you out there in that big block?
It feels great. I mean, I've drove these cars for a long time, so I mean, I'm comfortable. Track was racy. Started down low, went up high. Then you had that slider, and you also had a cut down. Dean was running the cut down, doing great doing that, and over half the field was running the slider. So I mean, the track was really racy.
You looked like you had a ton of fun, and definitely had a great time watching. But you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for helping you get into 2nd place tonight?
Yeah, teammates at FGM, Sponsor Speed Shops, Super Performance, GripHacks.com, Unit Dirt Car Series, Vortex Graphics coming on, sponsoring us, Coast to Coast Racing, Shaggy TV, and you for broadcasting.
Alrighty, well, congrats there on their 2nd place. And are you coming out for the Pro Late Models?
Yeah, I'm good.
Alrighty, well, good luck to them, and we'll see you racing them here in a little while.
I appreciate it.
All right, good evening, Dean. How's it going? You got that win here tonight, but it was not an easy chore for sure.
That was probably one of the hardest races I've ever run on this sim, Adam. I mean, it was, with 5 to go, I looked down at my relative, and I had like a 0.6, 0.7 lead. I said, okay, I'm in a groove, and then like 2 laps later, next thing I know, I look down, and it's 0.2, 0.1. I look in the mirror, and they're right behind me. And I'm like, so I said, well, hold your lines. They still got to get around you. And then coming down to the white flag when William got underneath me, I'm like, oh, crap, here we go. And then he threw that slider, and I said, okay, I'm just going to tap the brake, try to cut back underneath. And then I haven't run the bottom of 3 and 4 the entire race, and I had to do it on the last lap. And coming down for the checkered, and it's stuck. And, what a race. I mean, it's so cool to run with guys that race clean and can throw bombs at each other like that and race side by side. I mean, it's it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of good guys in this league that you can do that with, and it's funny because we're in the same Discord, but we don't say anything to each other when we're racing like that. So everyone goes, "Oh, you're probably helping out each other," and I said, "No, when we're racing, we want to win." So it was a lot of fun. But I haven't got a win in a while. I had a lot of podiums, and this is my first win on prime time in a long time. So and to do it this way, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like I said, it was definitely a hard-fought win for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know if I ever ran that hard for a 30-lap race like that. I mean, the mid portion of the race, I felt comfortable. I was doing my groove, doing that cut-down line, and it seemed like it was working, and I just stayed with it. But, when you run first and guys behind you are doing, different lanes, and they can find something that can work better, and evidently that's what they did. And then I just didn't know what to do. And then when they're underneath me, I couldn't do the cut-down anymore because, you do the cut-down, you're going to take them out, take yourself out. So I just kind of rolled the top and, do what I normally do here. I do like run the top, but I had to stay out of the gas and just roll it so I didn't get wheel spin coming off. And, we hung on just right, and, we picked off the win.
Now, you got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting you that win tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Got to thank, the FTM guys. Got to thank them. And we're proud sponsors of the Thursday night Big Blocks and 350H for you. So, Adam, you can do the telecast. But, got to thank them. And FTM, Adam, I got to thank you for doing the telecast, and then also for sponsoring the pro late models that we're going to get into and run. So thank you for that. And I got to thank Coast to Coast for giving us a place to race. We just came off a very successful Knoxville Nationals, and I actually wasn't even supposed to be here tonight, and so I'm going out to Knoxville. I was supposed to leave tonight, but I'm going out tomorrow night now. So I decided to come in and go race, and then we're going to be out in Knoxville next week. So I've only raced twice, and it's going to be in 3 weeks. I'm only raced twice. So, but sometimes you kind of forget bad habits and come in with a fresh mind, and I think that's what helped me tonight. So, we'll have fun there. But I sent the link to my girlfriend Megan. Hopefully she can watch it, and going to send the link to my dad and have him watch it. It's always good when you can send a link of a race you won. So we'll go do some pro late models, and hopefully I can talk to you again, man.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you here in the pro late models coming up then.
All right, Fleekster. Take care, man.
You too. So that was Dean Reynolds, your victory winner here in the big block division. So without much more to do, we'll go ahead and get everything set up for the pro late models. So don't go anywhere, as it's going to be some high-flying action. More coming around here from Williams Grove.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get...
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we're back live here from the Speedway. Drivers, get set to rock and roll here from Williams Grove. One final time for the Pro Late models now instead of modified, so they're going to be a little bit different to handle than what the modifieds were. They're a completely different car, if for that matter. There you see the 444 of Scott Rione. Dean Reynolds out there. John Dubai has come in. William Watson. Mike Weeda. Only 6 drivers so far in the Pro Late model. Here we go. Qualifying commencing. Six drivers. 7 drivers here tonight. As you're looking there at Scott Rione, there is Mike Weeda. And the number 81, got the 66 on the side of that Pro Late model. As they work here through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch now into 3 and 4. There you see the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Pro late models, your points are going to be Sam Bachman out front, Trevor Garou there in second, Anthony Morano in third, Scott Riome in fourth, Dean Reynolds in fifth. And curious, I haven't seen, I don't see Morano here. Qualifying has ended. Getting ready for our heat. Our heat race gonna look like this. Gavin Chatham out there in front. Mike Wheeler second. Dean Reynolds third. Scott Riome fourth. William Watson in fifth. Sam Bachman sixth. John Dubai in seventh. We got 5 cars that have taken the grid so far. Sam Bachman, John Dubai have not gridded up. So 5 machines here on the track. Eight laps gonna be the distance. Some of these drivers getting anxious. Yeah, sorry about that. There, some of you watching over at Coast to Coast. I apparently have been having issues getting the audio to come in and out tonight. It keeps going on mute. I don't know why. I'm keeping a strong watch on that going forward here. Jim coming down the backstretch. Lights are out. We're going to be getting green flag racing. I think I just watched Fred pull off. And I sure did here for the heat race. 5 drivers out here to make some racing action. Down here through the front stretch they go. Down here in the corner number 1, Chatham. What a great jump there as he gets out to the start. Dean Reynolds there second, Mike Wheeler there third, Scott Riome fourth, William Watson there fifth. That is your 5 drivers that are out there right now, battling here off of turn number 4 down through the front straightaway. The 99 from FTM, Chatham out there leading the way. Dean Reynolds down there on the inside as they roll down through the backstretch. Mike Weeda there third. William Watson there in fourth. Mike Weeda is battling it out there. Got that 23 there. William Watson battling down there on the inside, trying to get around Reynolds for that second spot. As you see him down there. Whoa, hang on to it. People are shifting all over the place as they roll down through the backstretch down here in the corner number 3 and 4. There you're looking at Watson there in the 23. Trying to figure out what lane he can get up there to battle it out, but that's 66. Some damage there to the right side of that machine. Or otherwise, that 81 of Weeda, that's the one we're talking about. Getting around Watson now. He works down there to the bottom side, getting up there into fourth. Now we got him staggered out here. 5 drivers out on track. Chatham there front. Dean Reynolds there second. Rita there third now as he got around Scott Riome. We're battling with Scott Riome as they work down through the bottom side of the racetrack. You're looking there at Mike Weeda as he tries to get something to happen. He's down there below that 444. Working there off of corner number 2 down that back straightaway once again. Down here in the corner number 3. Weeda's trying to make anything and everything happen there in that number 66 machine. They work down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Back around here to the back stretch. Looking there underneath is William Watson. Or I'm sorry, not William Watson. Mike Weeda is who I'm trying to say. Mike Weeda getting underneath Riome. As they roll down through here in the late model heat race. Now we're on the final lap. Chatham out there in front. Reynolds there in second. That's Scott Riome back here in third. Mike Weeda fourth. William Watson there fifth. As they roll there off. Great job there by Chatham taking that victory here in the heat race. Come on, you. Heat results gonna be Gavin Chatham there in front, Dean Reynolds there second, Scott Riome third, Mike Weeda there in fourth, William Watson fifth. Sam Bachman and John Dubai did not take the grid. Alrighty, so here we go with warm-ups. Warm-ups underway. We got 2.5 minutes of warm-ups. We got Mike Weeda out on track right now, waiting to see if anybody else comes out. We'll see if they even run the whole 2.5 minutes of warm-ups. Since there's just 5 of them. At the most 7, if Dubai and who was the other one? There was 2 that didn't take the grid. And I want to say it was, I know for sure it was John Dubai in the 21. Sam Bachman in 007. Oh, checker flag waves. Sam Bachman did come out. So we'll see who all comes out here for the Pro Lates. Here's your starting grid, if we can get everything to cooperate here. Gavin Chatham starting out there on pole. Dean Reynolds in second. Scott Rione there third. Mike Weeda there fourth. William Watson fifth. Sam Bachman sixth. John Dubai there seventh. That is your starting grid. We'll see if John Dubai comes out or not. We're missing the inside row. There they come. John Dubai has not, but Bachman has come in for the main event. Starting there at the back. Gavin out there, as we said, in front. Mike Weeda back here in fourth in that.
What about you? Yeah, yeah. I caused a few of them on though. I hit the inside wall once. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Dean, we would have been battling here at the end right here, but something happened. Gavin's wheel shut off, and he disappeared on the track during caution, and we come upon him, he reappeared right in front of both of us. So I got lucky and got in the pits before he did, so he had it behind me. So yeah. Yeah, it surprised, I had enough time to move, and it surprised me so much that I still ran in the back of Dean. Yeah. Yeah, teammates at FGM, Swan Speed Shops, Super Performance, GripX.com, Dean at Dirt Car Series, there he is right there.
Hey, Adam, they can't. Adam, they can't hear you on the broadcast. Flip your switch.
Uh-oh.
No, Scotty just came in. Scott Riom said we can't hear you. Sorry, Bart.
Oh, you're good. They heard me though, right? All good. Nah, it's all good. We're good. Good to go. I had fun. Oh, always. I mean, it's fun racing with these guys, so just gotta come out here and put on a show is what I'm really here to do. Have fun. I appreciate it.
Well, what's going on, Adam? Oh, hey, we got a chance to talk to you again. Yeah, so I guess Gavin's wheel shut off. I saw him sitting there in turn one, and then his car disappeared. So I figured he towed. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna go through, and all of a sudden his car shows up right in front of me when I'm going around. I'm like, he goes, I don't know what happened. He goes, I tried to mic up and tell you guys my wheel shut off, and he just happened to show up just as I was coming around the corner. So, but it is what it is. It's sometimes the equipment makes a little thing. I mean, I've had it happen. I've done it to other people where, I had my screen go black coming out of the pits at Lincoln. I took out half the field. So, it just happens, and you just move on. And the guys go, no, go back up, start up front. And I said, no, it's part of the deal, and we're gonna start where iRacing tells me, and then go from there.
Second, so just unfortunately couldn't quite get back up there to battle Watson like you've been doing all night long.
I think I was holding up Bart in the late models. I mean, not holding him up bad, but he's so good in late models. And, actually just to be sniffing his exhaust I'm happy with that because I don't run the late models a lot. And I was really trying to learn how to roll the bottom on Williams Grove with the car, and it felt good and everything. So I'm happy to finish second to him. And, I don't know if we could have hung on and let it all the way, but, it didn't happen, and that's all right. But we'll take the second, and it's been a good night. I got a fifth win in a second, so we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, you did a great job tonight, Bert, and can't wait to see how things go for you next week. I'm hoping everybody's hearing me okay on the broadcast, too. Now, I don't know Everything's looking okay on my part, so I don't know why it would have cut out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. If they can't hear me, it's probably a blessing.
Well, they can hear you. They should be able to hear you just fine. I mean, because I'm seeing it on my broadcast, you know, how you can watch your mixer and everything. My mixer is all good, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we still appreciate you doing it. So I just, got to thank the guys from FTM. And, what's your business name, the wraps name again?
Regal Wraps and Designs.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, for the sponsorship and bringing the pole lay models. We didn't have a lot of cars tonight, but I think we had a good race, though.
You definitely still had a good race. Unfortunately, a few hiccups here and there. I know we had one where it took out literally half the field.
Yeah. Well, but you're going to get that. And it's tough to get car counts this time of the year because you're in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
A lot of real racing going on. I actually won't be here next week because I'll actually be in Knoxville for the Knoxville Nationals, so I'm going to miss next week. And, then once the fall gets going, the car counts will get back up, more people joining coast to coast because they see we got a really good league here and a lot of fun. And then, we'll keep on showing them on the broadcast and we'll keep on going.
Yeah, I know. I thought about trying to build a team to compete with FTM.
There you go. Bring it on, my friend. Bring it on. We love to see that. I mean, it's amazing how many people that we had and how long we stayed together now. And, we have a lot of fun together. We are a bunch of part-timers. We don't race that much outside of coast to coast. There's a couple other things that we do, but we all work hard during the day. And then if we can get in at night and enjoy our company, that's what we do.
Alrighty, well, congrats there on the second place tonight, and we'll you have fun at Knoxville next week.
I will, and congrats to Bart William Watson on his win in second in the big blocks there, and good run Gavin Chatham for getting on the podium again. And Gavin had a good night with 2/3 358s and late models, and actually he won the matinee as well. So good night for Gavin too.
Alrighty, well, you have yourself a great night there, Dean, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks, I guess.
All right, Adam. Later, man.
So that was Dean Reynolds, our second place. Now we'll get with Gavin. Good evening, Gavin. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going again?
It's going all right. How do you think your race went?
Oh, it was a disaster. We started on the pole, and it was, I don't really run the late models too much, and I pushed up and lost the lead to Dean there, and it was running okay, and then my wheel decided something broke in the steering or something, and the wheel shut off. So spun out on the track and got a couple wrecks there. So it was definitely an interesting race and nothing short of anything exciting there. But all in all, to come back and finish third, I guess, is pretty good.
Well, I'm glad you were able to come to the pits and get that fixed. I mean, them technical difficulties, they could sneak up on you at any time and could be literally anything.
Yeah, and I feel bad for everybody involved with that. My apologies to everyone. It's just unfortunate it happened, and unfortunately some people got caught up in it as well. So, but yeah, they can sneak up on you, and you never know when they're going to happen. They kind of just happen. So, but we can laugh about it and move on from here. It was a pretty fun race for the most part, though. Other than that.
All righty. Well, you did a good job bringing that car back to get third place. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank?
I just want to thank you for doing an awesome job with the broadcast. I want to thank Coast to Coast, everybody involved, all the sponsors, the admin, everybody behind the scenes. I want to thank everybody for putting this league on, allowing us to come out here and put on a good show for everybody. So I want to thank Full Throttle Motorsports, Mike Schick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, Chatham Motorsports, Swan Speed Shop, Super Dare Car Series, and Vertex Graphics. I want to thank all the sponsors. I want to thank the fans for coming out and watching the races, and I hope you all had a good time tonight. And I just want to thank my fans as well for taking the time to watch the races.
Alrighty, and sounds like you had a pretty good afternoon as well, from what I heard from Dean. So,
we won the matinee today, so that felt pretty good as well. So, all in all, very very good runs today, very very solid day, and I'll definitely take it because sometimes they're few and far between. So, anytime you run good, you got to be excited about it.
Exactly. So, congrats, and we'll see you next week then, there, Gavin, to see what you could do at the next track. I haven't fully looked at the schedule to see where we're at.
I'm not sure, but I'm sure we'll be making the tow and trying to put on a good show for everybody.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if you heard, but Dean won't be with us next week because he's going to the Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, he won't be there, so I'm sure he'll have a good time out there. Something that any race fan should probably go out there and see that. It's on the bucket list of things for me to do. But yeah, Dean won't be here, so the one less guy we have to deal with, I guess, right?
Well, I'm sure Dean's okay missing this track. We're going to Weed Sport next week.
It gets slicked up. It's definitely technical and a tough track to drive. So yeah, that might not be a bad week to maybe take a week off.
Yeah, next week as he's not here. Yeah, we're at Weed Sport. So.
Well, it'll put on a good show. I'm sure it will. I'm sure once it slicks up and everybody's moving around trying to find the grip, it'll be a fun race.
Alrighty. Well, we look forward to it, and we'll see what's in store.
That sounds good. We'll see you next week. All right. Have a good rest of your week.
You too.
All right. Thank you.
So that was Gavin, our third place finisher. Great job tonight by everybody involved. Hopefully you all enjoyed the broadcast here at Coast to Coast Racing Network and from On the Pole at Flicker Farm TV. We're going to say good night. Thanks for watching.